There's an old saying that goes, necessity is the mother of invention. History has proven that true time and again. And it certainly holds true for Honda, a company that has not been afraid to innovate and take chances. Last month I got the chance to try out the new 2024 Africa Twin DCT with its groundbreaking dual-clutch transmission. However odd it felt like riding a motorcycle without clutch and shift levers, I have to admit that the DCT transmission was pretty slick. Honda has had success with it in their venerable Gold Wing and more recently the Africa Twin, so setting it in a mid-size cruiser just seemed like the logical next step. And I'm pretty impressed. The Rebel 1100 retains the neo-bobber styling that's made it so popular, with a stripped-down look and feel that hides its true capability. Under those mild-mannered externals you'll find a ripping 80 horsepower 1084cc parallel twin-cylinder engine tuned for super strong bottom and mid-range torque, which I found just enough to put a smile on your face. With mid-mount controls, throttle-by-wire, easy handling, adjustable engine power, traction control, cruise control and the DCT transmission, the Rebel 1100 offers a lot of bang for the buck. Aesthetically, the touring model stands out with its short front fairing and two rigid side cases with 35 liters in total, which can be complemented with a range of accessories. The main features of this Rebel T include a disc brake on each axle, in the front with 4-piston radial calipers and the use of a beautiful LED headlight, with the instrumentation consisting of an LCD unit with a negative screen. Other interesting features concern the height of the seat, which is placed just 700mm from the ground, and the weight of the whole, which is 248 kg in running order, 15 kg more than the version with a traditional gearbox. The fuel tank isn't exactly large, holding just 13.6 liters of petrol. And another of the features that reveals the cruiser format is the size of the wheels, with 18 inches rims at the front and 16 inches rims at the rear. The riding position is pleasant, especially as your feet aren't too far forward, and fatigue will only appear at higher speeds on the highway, on bad roads when the short travel rear suspension is no longer able to filter out irregularities, or after several hours of riding. This is because the seat is very low, so your legs are bent a lot and your hips may start to complain. The most important thing to note is that the engine is like a fish in water. It has character and is strong at all engine speeds, but at the same time it is smooth and hardly vibrates, so overall it does everything better than the big V engines in this segment. What's more, the DCT is an excellent ally and you don't even need several levels to choose from because it adapts itself to each of the driving modes. As well as managing the DCT gear shifts differently, each mode also affects power delivery, engine braking and traction control, all of which have 3 levels of operation. In general, standard mode is always the best, with sport proving to be too abrupt in most situations. I had the pleasure of riding it through some decent twisties and I clicked the DCT into manual shifting so I could paddle shift my way through the curvy road. When set in standard mode, the bike shifts too early in each gear, getting the bike in 6th by 40 miles per hour. Sport mode makes the throttle response sharper and the shift points much higher in the rev range in each gear. But on stretches of curvy roads, I wanted control and the grip paddles were perfect for clicking up and down through the gears. Smooth, well-surfaced roads are the most suitable for this Rebel, but in curvy areas you can see how good the dynamics are. The suspensions work very well, even the 2 rear shower, as long as there aren't too many potholes. The braking doesn't fail at all and even the ground clearance is quite acceptable for beautiful bends. I like the feel of all the controls, the overall build quality and the easy-to-read dashboard, and I was pleasantly surprised that the small windshield managed to deflect the air away from my helmet so well, almost magically. The side bags turn out to be a little shallow, especially the one on the right because of the exhaust, but they are very useful and more functional than traditional side bags, and the only thing I didn't test was the passenger seat, which, as you can easily see, is quite small. I covered around 2,000 kilometers on this bike and observed an average fuel consumption of around 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers, a fair figure. A full tank of fuel provides roughly 260 kilometers on the highway. I had a lot of fun with this Rebel, more than I expected. And while it's true that the riding position will never please everyone, I am fully convinced that this Rebel Touring does everything very well within its intended purpose. And this engine with the DCT fits in so well that I really started liking and enjoying riding a motorcycle without clutch or shift levers, which I never would have imagined. Make no mistake, I still love the full hands and feet interaction of a manually clutched motorcycle, but this auto transmission turned out to be a pleasure to ride. To conclude, the Rebel 1100 Touring surprised me with its excellent dynamics, overall quality and aerodynamic protection. It's very good for riding solo at a leisurely pace, and even without its exuberant aesthetics I can tell it's quite a stylish cruiser. If you are in the market for a touring bike, I highly recommend you try out the Rebel 1100 Touring, and maybe you might fall for the convenience of the DCT transmission and good looks like I did. If you liked this video, then smash that like button, and if you'd like to catch more motorcycle news and content, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.